Okay, welcome to a vintage cube video. Um, this is the holiday cube, the one that's up forever, and yeah, pick one, pack one. I think it's a fairly clear and obvious one ring. It's going to go into whatever we play. Um, Other notable cards are just Verdant and Miscalc. I think Inti's also very good, um, but everything else is fairly replaceable or unique to specific things, like your World Spine Worm or your Exhume and Show and Tells, that sort of thing. But a nice, easy one ring to start us off, which is always a nice card to have in, yeah, all your decks. Like I said, the control decks love it, the aggro decks love it, the combo decks really use it. So we'll start there. And I typically prefer playing the combo decks, but that's a little bit harder in this iteration of the cube, where it's kind of like a more of a mid-range slugfest, I find, with Boros aggressive being like the top of the pile. So here, notables are Ragavan, Preordain, Sneak Attack if we want to go in that direction, and Tundra. I think we are between Ragavan and Tundra though, and I think it's supposed to be Ragavan. I do love myself a Tundra, to be honest with you. Dark Ritual, I don't want to take this early. Sneak Attack we can build around if we want to. Sneak Attack's like the other powerful card. Is that better than Ragavan though? Like I'd be shocked if it is, to be honest with you. Let's try some Sneak Attack. It's a little bit more fun. Like eyes wide open that pick might just be wrong. There's an Ocelot Pride, which would have gone really well with our Ragavan, just having nut high one drops, like the best one drops in the cube sort of thing. Um, I think for us, if we're trying to sneak, then Mox Diamond's gonna be very good because it's gonna ramp into what is essentially a 5 mana sorcery speed play. Or Lorien Revealed would be the two I'm looking at here. Or we could just take Ocelot Pride and admit that we've just passed a Ragavan. That's the other option. But I think Mox Diamond, like the One Ring, is going to go in whatever we end up on. So it's a nice, safe, rampy pick. There's an Ulamog, which is not a very good sneak effect, really, is it? Deal you 10, you sacrifice some lands, and then kill me on the crackback is not the effect I'm dreaming of. I like the worm, so if the worm makes it back around, that would make me happy. But maybe I am supposed to Ulamog or something. But like Atraxa and Grizzlebrand, they'll pick up more things to sneak in. Because I always find Ulamog really underwhelming when I'm holding it. So I think I'm between Dismember and Urza's Saga, and I think I'm going to go with Urza's Saga. Expressive and Iteration are Expressive and Looting. These two draw card spells on the right are very, very good, quite desirable as well. There's a lot of nonsense in the middle with one special note on Emperor of Bones, but I think I'm happy with Saga over Dismember here. So Triplicate leaves some stuff behind if we want to try that out. It's also Expedition Map, which can get got by Urza's Saga or can get Urza's Saga. How artifacty we're going to be. Even if we're going to be artifacty though, then the Triplicate's like not an embarrassing payoff. It might be equal power to the Ulamog we just passed though. Let's try it. And then, oh, Gush. I don't look like a Gush deck, if I'm honest with you. I mean, this is probably quite powerful to sneak, isn't it? Like the old sneak Inferno Titan. What is that? 13 damage for a red mana is pretty good. But this card is, other than that, this card is quite embarrassing in terms of power level. 4 mana to deal 4, and then wait a billion years for another 4 damage. I think I'm just going to Frantic. I've got a Saga. We might be able to lead our way into some sort of Academy build with the way we've started. And we're going to want want cards anyway, right? So Fimage can be very good in your sneak decks, but I'm going to take Steam Vents with this start here. We're not really losing anything. The Might Stone and the Weak Stone is quite a replaceable artifact card. And we could take another dual land. We could take an Animate Dead. That's a very, very late Animate Dead, so maybe we need to do that. And that's got nice crossover with the sneak attack as well. It's that or Flame Slash or Dual Land. It's these three here. But I think the signal of Animate Dead being there is quite insane. An 8th pick Animate Dead. You don't see that every day. Gives me good hope for the Worm coming back. No one's cheating. I will. So we'll pick up the Worm. That's going to be a nice sneak attack target. If we can get Flash, that will go well with these guys. And then, yeah, Nexus. If I'm trying to sneak things into play and I'm trying to lean artifacts, this could be the way forwards. We need more fixing. Talon Gates is very good. Sneak my guy and then phase it out. That's pretty funny. I think I'm going to take Malcolm, though. I always find access to nutty cards is an issue in this sort of list. So now we'll go Faithless Looting. It's not the cantrip I dreamed of, but I did pick up the Animate Dead on the way around, so all very nice. And then a bunch of unplayables. So let's take the Sorin Markov, and Bone Shards might make the cut, and then Fire Blast can also go to the sideboard. So one medium sneak, one premium sneak, but the thing that I like about them is they both leave something behind. We've got a Nexus if we can pick up something a bit more impactful, and then the starts of some mediocre Reanimate stuff and maybe a Saga list. If I can pick up one more 0 or 1, then I think the Saga's fine to play. If it's a rampy 0 or a rampy 1 sort of thing. But that Animate Dead was insanely late, so Polluted Delta will be up there as a card that we're looking for going into the future packs, just because that would fix all 3 of our colours. And what have we got? Mishra's Bauble and just a Reanimate, or an Atali. I think you're just supposed to take Reanimate, right? There are other fatties. There are not other Reanimates. I mean, based on how pack 1 went, I might wield a Reanimate, but I don't want to risk it. I'd rather try and wheel an Atali. On the wheel, there's Narset. Sheldock won't make it round. So Narset, Legion Extruder, and Fire Ice, maybe a Bauble. I think Fire Ice is the most likely one we get back, or Blight Steel if we end up with a few more artifacts and a Tinker in our pile. So there's Necromancy, which might just be the play as well. There's not much else here. I don't really have the activated abilities to go cauldroning, although that is a lot of fun. There's the Fanatic, but I think just the always 3 mana is better than occasionally 2 mana guy. And then maybe we'll get a Firebolt or a random Talisman on the way back round. So leaning across into the Reanimator life at the moment. Valgavoth is certainly a fat card we could play. We can sneak it in with Nexus and it would actually be in play. We can reanimate it with these guys. We've got Bone Shards, Looting, and Malcolm and Frantic to discard with. So we're actually kind of getting there. I just need the mana to sort itself out. I think Valgavoth is going to be better than Subtlety. So I'm going to go with that. Right, Portal to Phyrexia. I can put it into play with this card, this Nexus of Becoming. Or I can hope to open a Tinker. The other option is I just take a Blood Crypt and make this mana situation less embarrassing. I think I want to just take the Blood Crypt and just sneak creatures. Maybe wheel a Corpse Dance. So we can Corpse Dance this guy, can't we? Yeah, when, not if. So let's focus on casting spells. Fury, Fire Covenant, Bitter Triumph. I do like Fire Covenant, but I think I'm just going to Fury. I've already got Discard Killer Thing. Bitter Triumph is certainly better, but I think Fury, nice sneak attack target as well anyway, so 0 mana interaction. So a Raucous Theatre, an Inquisition, a Fabled Passage. These are our options, I think. The Theatre looks cool, but I don't have the fetch lands to enable it. I don't want to just play like actual factual tap lands. So I think I'll just Inquisition for a bit of interaction. No fat guys to consider. And then there's a Zagoth Triome, which is just a blue-black land for us, which we don't currently have, or there's a Memory Lapse. I mean, Malcolm's got Flash, so maybe I can become a bit more... I mean, the first permission spell goes a long way anyway. Let's take a fairly late Memory Lapse, and then a very late Atraxa. Well, pick 8's been fantastic, hasn't it, each pack? So, take Atraxa, and now we're on to the wheels. Legion Extruder I was interested in last time round because it looked like a cool little artifact thing, but we're not really getting there on that side of things, so I'm probably just going to take Fire Ice. So Blightsteel is, if it would be put into the graveyard, it shuffles in, so it never sees the graveyard, whereas the Worldspine Worm will see the graveyard for a moment. So we might be able to get, even if you just discard it and then Necromancy it, it's going to make some dudes. But we'll take Fire Ice. And then, is there anything here that I'm actually interested in? The Curtains is just a wall. I don't know about this Fanatic guy, if he's actually good. Like, would I rather just have a Firebolt? No, I think I'll give this a go at least. And then flashback. No, I'm going to take the desk. This is another little thing for my Saga to go and get. Ketria Triumph is a blue-red land. I think that's better than Iconoclast for us. I'm probably not going to get into Eureka at this stage in the day. Take another random fatty though. Unlikely to do that one. Master of Death will be cool with all this discarding, and Mutavault will look great with our Fire Blast over there. So Master of Death, Malcolm, Frantic, Faithless Looting, Bone Shards. It's just possibly a nice little way of actually not losing so many cards. The Research Desk exiles a bunch of stuff. And what do we have here? There's the Tinker there. But we're not really set up to Tinker on the low end of things, are we? Which makes me more interested in either Misty or Watery Grave. I'm pretty sure Misty is just better, right? Oh no, Misty doesn't get Blood Crypt. Right? No, Misty doesn't get Blood Crypt, so maybe Watery Grave is better. There's also an Oliphant actually. An Oliphant gets both of them. But it does turn them both into a tap land. So what if I just have shock land of each colour? I think that's fine. I think we just say Watery Grave. If we get the Oliphant back, that'd be cool. I don't know if Single Wheel, but I'd be happy with that as well. Yeah, right. Then Archon. Sure, I'll just upgrade everything to being top tier. So obviously Flooded Strand and stuff, but I can get rid of the Triplicate Titan. Valgavoth's pretty medium. Torsten's gone. I don't need to play all of these, and Archon and Atraxa are like the best two. So that seems great for us. So there's a Bazaar of Baghdad. Bazaar Master of Death is definitely a combo. It's also just a Baleful Strix if we want cards. Imperial Seal. I don't feel like I want to be imperially sealing things. Right. So what we doing with these guys at the moment? I didn't get that Corpse Dance back today. I'm so tempted to Bazaar, but I know I'll get it back on the wheel. I think I'm just going to Strix. Just cement some early game. Don't die. All that jazz. What have we got for interaction? Bone Shards and Inquisition. That's not a lot. Now there's a Grizzlebrand. How many picks do I want to spend on fat guys when I could just take a Creeping Tar Pit? So I've got 4 big creatures, 3 good ones, 1 medium, a Metamorphosis Fanatic, and some mid-range stuff here. Am I just supposed to take Grizzlebrand anyway? Probably. Probably am. Right. So Deep Cavern Bat versus Remand, I think. There's also Burst Lightning, but I'd rather Remand. So we've got Lapse and Remand to buy a bit of time. We can also flash in with Malcolm sort of thing, so that all seems fine. And then I don't know if our mana's going to hold up, but I'm going to take the Fiery Confluence. And then try and work out how we get these creatures into play later on, I think. What we've got? We've got Nexus, we've got Sneak, Necromancy, Animate Dead, Reanimate. Yeah, this all seems grand. Echo of Eons probably isn't where I want to be. Overlord of the Balemark. Is this actually good? Seems unlikely versus Fact or Fiction. Have I got any reason for a green touch? I've already got a green touch with my Ketria Triome. So Traxxas will be castable with Triome plus Diamond. Do we want to try Overlord or do we just want to take Fact? I think Fact's kind of cool. Okay, there's a lot of cards here. Pyroglyph is an absolute banger. But I could just take a Chain Lightning, and Chain Lightning is a lot cheaper. No, I'm going to take a Pyroglyph. Doomsday Sync and Oliphant. I think the Oliphant's actually really good for us because it's actually quite a cool sneak target. And it gets all of our colours. We have to sort out this top end at some point. Barragoyf or Anger. I think Barragoyf. And we can just work out how mid-rangey we want to be. We'll consider Bazaar of Baghdad, but I'm not convinced. Shadow Grange can go into this big pile of large creatures that I'm going to cut a lot of. A removal spell in case we need it. And I'm not playing a Bob variant with this curve up here. So Archon and Atraxa are the best. And then and Grizzlebrand probably actually. Because these are the three that work with everything. Right? They work with Nexus, Metamorph. Like they sit in my graveyard. And they're always good, whether you're just sneaking them in or like if they're here temporarily or if they're here forever. Whereas the others, Valgavoth's only good if he's here forever, and Worldspine Worm's only good if it kind of dies immediately, sort of thing, or has haste. Probably not playing Blade Spicer. So then it's the question of do I want 3 or 4 targets, right? So these 3 we're definitely playing. That's kind of like a lock. I've got 6 lands here. I'm actually quite interested in this Bazaar. And I think if I'm interested in the Bazaar, then having the 2 mediums and not the Shadow Grange seems good. Because then I'm like really heavy on things I can discard to my Bazaar. But we need to make a lot of cuts from this position. I'm happy to get rid of this medium removal spell. Oliphant is a land. Mox Diamond is not a land. Mishra's Research Desk. I kind of wanted that for the Saga. That's if I'm Sagaing. Do I want to be Sagaing? That's the next question, right? We could just say I didn't get on the Saga, I got there on the top end stuff. Let's confirm we get to the top end and not have a land die mid-game. That might be an approach. I think those two have to be together. Because like Mox Diamond as a target isn't necessarily a lock. And I would like to get at least one thing from it. I don't really want to cut any of these just because I don't have a great quantity of middling cards. Fire Ice is also another bridge card if I want it. So that brings us to like our mid-rangey stuff here. I'm not sure about this Fnatic. I'm not sure about this Fact or Fiction. I guess the question is, do I want to be Barragoyfing and Pyrogoyfing? Or do I want to be like... Yeah, just drawing cards. Because we can just have a mid-range plan and randomly dump some nerds into play. And I think Pyrogoyf and Barragoyf are kind of competing for these 2 slots here. So we can be like a mid-rangey plan, which at some point might dump one of these 3 guys into play. we can metamorph Pyroglyphs and Baraglyphs. This looks quite cool, actually. But I think that means I don't care so much about the fact or fiction. And I think if I'm running a lower quantity of big creatures like no Worm, no Valgavoth, we won't play Bazaar, and we can drop Master of Death. So I kind of just want one more cut from here. These are all good. These guys are all powerful as well. So it's going to be Fnatic versus Fire Ice, I think. And I'm just going to drop the Fire Ice. That means we're going to have the Oliphant as well. So it's going to be 16 lands plus a diamond. No Saga, no Bazaar. So we kind of came off our... So we're kind of coming off of our cool cards, cool lands to have more reliable play to the board mid-game in Baraglyph and Pyroglyph. And like, there's a good chance that sneaking those two can just win a game as well, right? Like, sneak in my Pyroglyph, dome you. Sneak in my Baraglyph, dome you. Attack, attack. Sneak in my Oliphant, they've got trample. I don't know. So, 8 red sources plus an Oliphant. And then it should be similar black 8 plus an Oliphant. The Oliphant's universal, isn't it? But it's slightly more red than everything else. 7, and then I can maybe I just play another island. 4/4/4 is not pretty though. It was just that fetch land at the beginning, right? Misty versus the Watery Grave. Alright, so we'll save there, and we've got decent sideboarding options as well. Like if we want to be a bit more aggressive, we can bring in Bazaars, more fatties, drop the mid-range nonsense, drop the permission maybe against aggro, right? We can take out the memory lapse and the remand and play some more Rakdos. Maybe that's an approach actually. Let's look at that quickly. Oh no, because I've got this guy as well, and this is a lot of my discarding. There's these 2 of them. Should I even be playing blue? That's an actually interesting last minute question, isn't it? So if I got rid of those and just played a Bazaar of Baghdad, Master of Death, more fat creatures, then 1, 2. Then my discard outlets are the nut low. I don't like that at all. Am I supposed to be playing Worldspine Worm? I don't think so. Oh, I've added a card somehow. Oh, Master. Cool. Let's head to a game. Okay, round 1, we're up against sick_variants. And we're on the play with this awful hand. I mean, Fiery Confidence could catch us up, but I think this is not very good. So I'm going to send it back. Like, we've got no plan. And this is tough as well, but we'll keep it. I don't think I need the Mox Diamond, right? Or I don't need the Necromancy. But I kind of want both of these. Because if I draw, like... I want the Pyroglyph just so I can play something to the board at some point. But then turn 4's kind of slow and horrible. Yeah, no, I'll keep this, and I might just put the Pyroglyph on the bottom then. So I think it's Pyroglyph or Mox Diamond. But then land, Pyroglyph is really bad. So I'm hoping to draw something. What does Mox Diamond do for me? It fixes for blue cards when I draw them. Or I could bottom a Traxxer and assume, but I don't like the assumption. I think I'm leaning Pyroglyph, because then I've got the fixing on the diamond. And then I can just go Swamp Go. And we are kind of hoping to draw something, but if we do just go land, then I get to play a sneak attack, and the next turn I'm sneaking a Traxxer. This wasn't a very good hand, but I think it's better than the other one we had. Okay, so opponent's turn 1. It's just a Raugrin Triumph. Nice. Good for us. Grizzlebrand. Do I want to miss a land drop? Do I want to play a Mox Diamond? I think I just want to play my Mountain, be sad about my Mox Diamond. But the thing is, if I play Mox Diamond and they just untap, play another Triome, Prismatic Ending my Diamond, then we're just exceptionally dead. Do I wish this was a Pyrogoyf at this point? Maybe, I don't know. Scrapwork Mutt. Go on, discard a fat guy. Doesn't look like a Reanimator start, does it? Mind Collapse, okay. Watery Grave. Okay, another tap land. You could shock that in there and make them, like, think, but I think this is fine. This could be like a Tinker deck, just an Is It Tinker deck. Because Scrapwork Mutt doesn't usually end up in your blue-white control decks unless we had a lot of problems on the way through. And then, say we manage to sneak one of these guys into play. Which one are we sneaking first? I always presume it's Atraxa, but that might be wrong. Maybe it's supposed to be Grizzlebrand. Okay, opponent has a sorcery speed consider. And they keep and play a island for the turn. They have a Mutt and a Preordain. So Mutt cantripping, 6 cards over there, and it's our turn. So I'm going to go Mox Diamond here and just roll out that sneak attack. If we get Spell Pierced, we get Spell Pierced. We do not. It's your turn. You have to answer a sneak attack, and you kind of have to do it right now. So 7 cards over there. Not done sculpting. There's more to do. Teferi 3 could help him out. Spellseeker. Spellseeker seems slow. Gets a Brain Freeze. I've got a Wellspine Worm in my deck, right? No, I haven't. So putting Wellspine Worm in our deck might be a play. Right, so Grizzlebrand and Atraxa. Let's sneak in the Grizzlebrand first. And let's pay 7. I kind of wanted more red lands to be drawn. I can return to the Wishing Well here, and I think I will. Am I just lining myself up to get Brain Freezed incredibly hard next turn? So if I hit another red source... Yeah, because I can hit red source Archon, right? And there's no chance they beat that. So let's go to 2. Cool red source. So let's sneak attack Atraxa first to go and tutor a mountain to hand. Grab Atraxa. Look at the top 10. Basic mountain. And some other cards. Does not matter. Actually, I probably want to keep a lot of these in my deck. It doesn't matter, does it? They're dead. I really want the mountain, and I'm just going to say done here. I'm not sure. what I'm getting from that. But we play Mountain. We've got Miscalculation open. We put Archon of Cruelty into play. And they die. Cool. So that was an interesting game where neither player did anything and then one of them died. And I think they died just before I was going to die, actually. So, against a Brain Freeze deck, Valgavoth's Leyline ability can be very good. And the Worldspine Worm's ability could just buy us a turn if we're a turn slower on the draw, sort of thing. Doesn't look like a matchup where Pyrogoyf and Barrogoyf are going to be good. That sort of mid-rangey thing didn't look like where we're playing. So then when I've got 5 big guys in play, I think I'm more interested in our Bazaar of Baghdad. And I think I'll do that over Fiery Confluence. And then Fury. Where do we stand on Fury? Because I could bring in Master of Death for that slight value engine that I was saying earlier. I think I'm interested in trying that build anyway, so we're far more combo centric. This is a little foil to their combo, but not much, right? The way it works is you end up with a deck with a Worldspine Worm in it, and you have a draw step. So that's just if we're a turn slow. But we'll try this out, because this might actually just be a better build as well, right? 41 for the opponent, that's cool. Okay, we're on the draw. We're going to do the play I hate. Because this is it, right? We're going to discard Archon of Cruelty. And then we're going to play a Reanimate. And then if they counter the Reanimate, we're going to play an Animate Dead. And now they know the joke. The only way this changes is if we top deck Bazaar. So our play for next turn is to not play anything. Okay. You'll go, this is my Archon. I unfortunately missed my land drop. And now we've got the beautiful curve of turn 2 Archon, turn 3 Archon, turn 4 Archon. And they have a Consider into a Preordain. So Daze, Force of Will, Force of Negation are... I don't think missteps in this build. Oh, there's an Atraxa. I'm going to ignore Atraxa for now. Play a Swamp, Reanimate an Archon. Priorities on the opponent. And they don't have any of those cards we just named. And we draw a Mountain. And like, bounce is tough here, right? Because you're going to put me onto 8-9 cards after my draw step, so I can just discard another Archon. Got a Worldspine Worm. Let's see if we get to attack before we make a land drop. So I'm actually kind of open to discarding to hand size here. Master of Death. Oh, we've got plays. Attack, trigger, resolves, make plays. I don't understand. Okay. So we hold on to a token. This way, possibly, depending on what they discard. So this is draw X, blue and X, draw X, and then discard X, and you get tokens equal to the number of card types you discarded. So they did discard a Spellseeker. I think this is a cool spot to not make a land drop again, right? So I can discard Atraxa and Worldspine Worm. Shuffle it, yeah. So Atraxa and Worldspine Worm will discard. Get the worm back into our deck so we can't die. Animate Dead and Atraxa next turn. Probably post-combat, but they're dead. Cool. I very rarely like that play of do nothing, reanimate, but you know, sometimes you look at your opener and you're like, yeah, that's fine. And in this spot as well, it's not just the classic, I missed my land drop, I discarded my Archon, I played Reanimate, it got Spell Pierced and I died. We actually had the backup as well, so want to know. Okay, so round 2, we're up against I Love Twice. I don't know who Twice is, but that's cool for them. I'm gonna keep this hand. We've got a memory lapse, got a frantic search, got a creature we can put onto the battlefield. So we're back to our game 1 configuration. They've got an island. Oh, they've also got a Mox Diamond. Discarding a mountain. 4 cards in hand for the opponent now. So, do we want to fight fire with fire and play our own Mox Diamond? I think so. But I think I want a swamp in play. And then I'll cast a Mox Diamond. Because they're lining up a turn 2 3-drop. I'd rather it was a turn 3 3-drop. So I want my memory lapse online against the slightly accelerated start. We do need to top deck a land next turn to achieve anything in this game. Mountain, Dak Faden would be a beat, but oh gosh. Give me my island back. We need a land and we need it right now. Before they get a Mox Diamond. That'll do. And I will frantic here into losing a mana before my blue source goes away. So I'm going to discard the 2 fatties. Untap these 2. And that's my turn. So they can play Dak Faden and take my Mox Diamond. Which I don't love. But if we get to sneak a Fanatic, then we get to bring back an Atraxor or a Grizzlebrand and pressure the Dak. So Dak comes down, Dak takes Diamond. Yeah. That was our blue mana. Now I get a 1 ring for the turn after Dak Faden. Cool stuff. Turn after Dak gets to do his thing. Opponent's got 2 cards, but they've got so much card velocity now. Maybe me playing my Diamond was bad, but, you know, it's hard to predict Dak Faden off of Island Mox Diamond. So Dak's going to go up, which makes our 1 ring unplayable until we've dealt with it. Opponent has a Through the Breach, which I don't love. And we're dead. Cool. Fair play. The Through the Breach mirror. And they've got a Blightsteel. So again, I think we want to combo harder, faster, louder, stronger. Fire Ice probably good. Pyrogoyf and Barragoyf, not great. Do I want Fiery Confluence just to fight Mox Diamond? I don't think so. And then I had the Bazaar of Baghdad. And I will drop, not Baleful Strix. I love that card too much, I think. Maybe just the Metamorph. Let's drop the Strix and bring in the Master, because the Master's also drawing us cards, right? So Fire Ice is there to tap their Blightsteel if we can. Just a little bit of a thing. Can also dink a Dak Faden. We're going to keep this, and we're going to loot away our Archon. Or we can Oliphant for Steam Vents, which I don't love. I think there's a chance we want to be Oliphanting for Blood Crypt in this game. So let's start off on a looting. We found a Blood Crypt. Let's just discard Mountain Archon and pass the turn. So we've got Blood Crypt, but I think next turn, depending on what we draw, obviously, could just be Oliphant, play a Triome. They have Mountain. That's that. I can't do that, so no. Let's Olifant, grab a Ketria, try him and play that. And then we've got Shock in Blood Crypt if we need to, and we'll have Memory Lapse up. So yeah, now we're just in the Reanimate spell waiting room. Or 6 mana waiting room, one or the other. And I'm happy just to hold this Fire and Ice for a while, I think. I don't feel under too much pressure, because any sort of pressure I'm going to get to lapse beforehand, right? So opponent stomps my face, yeah, that's absolutely fine. And if they play that next turn, then I might lapse it. Because then my lapse would have eaten 5 mana and their entire life, sort of thing. So yeah, so we'll lapse that, just because the amount of time it buys. We can also like consider icing that mountain. Swamp. So what do we think about flashback faceless looting? I think I like it. But I'm going to play my land first. And there was a reason for that, but it's now escaped me, so I'm not sure if it's particularly good. Hold up black in case I draw a Reanimate. I don't. So we're getting an Archon back next turn. I don't think I need Bazaar of Baghdad in this world. And I think I'm coming off of this mountain as well. And if they do just roll out the Bone Crusher again, then we can kill it, animate dead, and metamorph. Dak Faden. Sure. So we can kill Dak, animate dead the Metamorphosis Fanatic, which will bring back an Archon of Cruelty. And then we'll probably still have Fire Ice up as well. Their Dak will be dead. We just got to hope for no things like a Force of Will or something. So let's see what they discard off Dak. Unholy Heat and Otawara. So Mountain. Cool. There's a Grizzlebrand. But I think I'm happy with what I said before. Let's discard the Metamorphosis Fanatic. Let's animate dead the Metamorphosis Fanatic, which will bring an Archon into play. Archon triggers, we get a card. I'd like a land. So let's say they threw the Breach Emrakul here. We get to untap with an Archon in play. Seems fine. It sounds like a board we can come back from. Then discarding Otawara for us was fantastic. So, and then we obviously survived through the Breach Blightsteel. Through the Breach Worldspine Worm's probably not a problem for us. Yeah, I think we're good. It's going to have to be removal spells. I don't think their combo gets them out of this. Opponent has costs to pay, and it's an expressive iteration. I'm starting to wonder if this, like, more aggro version that I've been building, not aggro, but you know, the game 2 deck, I'm wondering if that's just been better. I think there was a lot of decisions in deck building that we could have gone for. But I think into unknown decks, the Baragoyf, Pyrogoyf, Fury stuff is just better. So they're going to Frantic, which makes sense facing my battlefield. And yeah, we'll see if they have anything. And And then they discard a Blightsteel Colossus. So they had Blightsteel in hand, but it wasn't enough. And 3 blue gets untapped. And they cast Dig Through Time. This looks fine for me. I think. So opponent's going to have 6 cards in hand. Oh no, 4 cards in hand, sorry. They were choosing an order. And it's back to us. So what can you have? What 3 cards can win the game from here? Or maybe they're on... Well, they can't be on Through the Breach. They can't be on, like, Let Me Tap Out and then Through the Breach Blightsteel. So yeah, I'm not sure what they can have here. Mox Diamond's not something I want, but hey ho. Let's go to combat. Nexus of Becoming. Opponent falls to 5. Do I want to reanimate an Oliphant? Yeah, I don't see why I can't do that. And then they need to kill us. We've put a ground blocker down, which makes their Blightsteel bad. We extended our board to make their Emrakul bad. And we can tap whatever they put into play. Worldspine Worms in our deck if they randomly combo us out with Brain Freeze. Show and Tell. Okay. I'll put in a Grizzlebrand. You'll put in a Atraxa. Trigger on the stack. I'd like to tap your Atraxa. Well, they played a Spellseeker earlier, didn't they? So they could just get Time Walk off this. So that's really bad. Okay, so you can have your trigger. Blightsteel's here. Right. Brain Freeze, Iconoclast, Brainstorm, Mana Drain, Mana Leak. Okay, but I've got a Grizzlebrand. We can play around Brain Freeze. Yeah, Brain Freeze we play around just by the cards in our deck. So they'll give us a draw step if they're able to freeze us out. They choose Brain Freeze, Emrakul, and Mountain. Okay. So they get a Mountain. They play an Underworld Breach. Sure. They'll play Lion's Eye Diamond. Fine. They'll crack it, and then their Emrakul will trigger. And then they'll reshuffle. So you're saying that you're going to combo me out over the top of this? Emrakul and Brain Freeze. Because you need cards to fuel it. I'm not sure why we took Emrakul off that. But I was covered from this play, and they were also not going to be able to get there. I mean, they could dig in response. That's pretty sick. Have they got the cards for that, though? 4 mana. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think so. Frantic Search gets escaped, eating the Emrakul. This is a pretty tough ask, I think, to combo over the top of this trigger. Seeing as you can't generate mana. You could probably Frantic again and then maybe cast Dig. No, because you're never going to have the spell, are you? Because Dig is, what, 4 mana. Delve 5. And then delve a further... No, Dig's gone now. Okay, so Storm's 5. And then you can Frantic once more. This would be a sick kill if I didn't have Whalespine Worm in my deck, right? Then you can Frantic once more, and then you can Brain Freeze me for 21. Yeah, no, okay, this was dope. And I want to... So they're going to go for a Brain Freeze now. Can I get around this, don't I? Yeah, I've got an Archon. I can't attack with Archon. So they Brain Freeze themselves originally. I'm just wondering when I want to... At what stage do I want to tap this Atraxa? Because this draws me a card, so I need to do it before they Brain Freeze me. And if I draw the green guy, then I draw the green guy. But we just need to tap that so we can get through with the other creatures. We draw Remand, fine. Cool. And then they Brain Freeze themselves on this one. I'm not sure why they've Brain Freeze themselves with this first one here. Was that so they can Brain Freeze again? Because they had me for the clean and easy 21, didn't they? Are they thinking they might want to do it a few more times? So they targeted themselves with the first one. So the one underneath the Storm Trigger. That's on them. And then the rest of them so far have been redirected to me. Which is only 18. And I've got 20 cards. That's a Worldspine one. And then they milled themselves for 6. And then do you want to Brain Freeze anyone again? So they can put me down to just Worldspine Worm and then die to my combat. The Frantic did a lot of work, didn't it? So now they're just milling me incredibly hard. They've got no mana floating. They can't produce mana. They're putting me down to 1 card, and the main thing we've got to do is just not attack with our not Grizzlebrand, our Archon of Cruelty, and then we win. So this is a lot of clicks and a lot of time out of everyone's lives. They reshuffle, their Breach dies, they've got no cards in hand, their Atraxa's tapped. Don't attack with Archon. I draw this card, crunch, and then we'll go to combat. And we'll attack with all the non-Archon creatures. Crunch. This gets trample. Okay. Anything else we want? I didn't have my Master of Death in. Oh well. Yeah, let's play it over the Strixen. That's what I did last time. Cool, so... yeah, we need to be fast and pretty aggressive with our combo to get through theirs. That is all. We are on the draw, though. We do have Inquisition as a bit of interaction if we want it. And if they can do that Breach Freeze stuff quickly, then yeah, there will be a point where I can't win with just a Worldspine Worm. I'll keep this hand, turn 1 loot, turn 3 reanimate. Like I can get fast with a Mox Diamond or an Animate Dead or something. So they put a card underneath Sheldock. And we draw a Watery Grave. Well, we need to play the Blood Crypt because that taps for red. And I'm going to discard Archon of Cruelty and Basic Island. And then next turn I'll probably just ice their land. In their upkeep. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just throw an Archon at them. And if they counter it, then they counter it. Counterspell, sure. I'm going to do that again next turn. And if they have two counterspells, then sure, I'm in trouble. Inquisition might change my mind. Worldspine Worm. Sure, let's chuck this in. And cast a Necromancy. They've got more counterspells. Manage Rain. That's a problem. We might have just lost. I don't know. I think that's fine. Brainstorm. Like, Show and Tell might not even get them out of this, right? Because I'll get to put in an Atraxa as well. But we could just die here. Especially seeing as I've got the Worldspine in hand. Although that wouldn't help me at this point, because I don't have them dead on board next turn. They Frantic. I wonder if they can get down to 20 this turn off of their Shell Dock. So it's probably land Flashback Looting. So they discard Unholy Heat in third path. So it looks like they're struggling for red mana then. Or they just don't think those cards are the game plan. They play an island. They've got 3 cards in hand. And they pass the turn. I quite like that. Let's throw more cards at them. They don't have permission this time. Do you have a Hull Breacher? I didn't see one last time out. So we've got protection, so we're going to get another turn. And then we'll get more cards. And then we'll have Fire Ice up for a lot of things. 25 and 26 cards in deck at the moment for that Shelldock Isle. I take 1 in my upkeep. Steam Vents. Sure. Reanimate an Archon or Cruelty. Do you have more permission? No. They're discarding. So 22 cards in deck at the moment versus 25. So I'll shock in this and pass the turn. How do you deal with a Shelldock Isle that's going to be active next turn? We'll Fire Ice it end step if that's allowed. And they concede. Okay, so nothing under the Shelldock that was good. I was going to ice it and flash in a Malcolm and then, you know, probably win, but they can't beat the Archon. So we're 2-0, I think. Okie dokie, finals time. We're on the play again. Did we win all 3 die rolls? I don't know. Me, Big A, 129. So that's cool. They're our opponent. And yeah, we're going to keep this one. This looks cool. We'll loot into, hopefully, just a Reanimate spell for turn 2. Probably discarding both Fatties, but obviously depends on what we draw as well. So, yes, I'd like to shock. Yes, I'd like to loot. And yeah, I think discarding both Fatties seems fine here. Those 2 can go. We can pass a turn and then they can just cast their Reanimate and the game can end. So let's see. Swamp, yeah, looks good. Inquisition, okay. So they get Baleful Strix or Frantic. They take Frantic. We top deck Animate Dead. No, never lucky. Okay. Do I want to look like a top decked permission? No, I just want to roll out my Baleful Strix, I think. Island. Scrubland. Oh, so they might just be a aggro deck rather than anything useful. They hymn me. We draw. Yes, I'd love to miracle my Metamorphosis Fanatic. How does this work though? So, okay, I guess. Click this and then cast it. Sweet. So we miracle this guy. We get back an Archon of Cruelty or an Atraxa. Let's get back an Archon. And maybe it's supposed to be Atraxa. Because Atraxa then gets... Yeah, Atraxa gets more cards, doesn't it? Maybe that was wrong, but hey ho. Archon's just going to pressure their hand so much. If we get Path, we get mana for one ring, so... Yeah, we win. Cool. Sick variants. No, they were round one. Okay, so against mono... Not mono white, but mono discard control. I like the Fiery Covenant and Baraghosts and the Furies and stuff in this matchup. I'm pretty interested in a little bit more removal. I don't think I want Baleful Mastery though. I think that's a step too far. And if I've not got any cards in hand, then I can just drop a Remand or a Memory Lapse. I like the mid-rangey stuff. Do I want like a Bazaar? I'm not really bringing in any more fatties. I think that's a fine change. Just one permission spell for something that reacts to the stuff on board. Yeah. Burn in, remand out. And this is quite a slow but controlling hand for if they deploy creatures, which I think is going to be part of their game plan. And if we can just pitch a Fury, reanimate a Fury, something like that. So Scrubland. Inquisition, can't take any of my cards, get wrecked. And that's a Nexus. Let's play a tapped Steam Vents. This is going to play into Wasteland, but also around Wasteland, not having the Black Source in play. So basic planes. And a Baleful Strix. So now we'll shock this in for our Strix. We draw a Sneak Attack. That looks like a good way to go. A Sneak Attack, I think, is going to have to be a play and activate on the same turn sort of deal. Depends on what this is. Oh, they twist me. Sneak Attack and Island. Okay, that's upsetting. Yeah, so they're just all about me not having cards in hand, which is cool. We draw a Swamp. We'll attack for 1, and I'm just going to ice their... I'm just going to ice their Scrubland on their turn, on their upkeep. Because I would like to find land drops here. There we go, cool. Like, I'm not too fussed about everything else, I don't think. It's just... yeah, so let's cast Frantic first of all. Am I interested in Mox Diamond? So what would it be? It would be discard Fanatic and Swamp. No, it'd have to be Fanatic and Confluence. Untap everything. Diamond, discard Swamp, play Watery Grave, cast Fury, and then top deck land and start Nexusing. I think that seems fine. So Fiery Confluence and Metamorphosis Fanatic go to the graveyard. Any order's fine there. Untap these 3. Shock in a Watery Grave for good mana. Cast a Fury. And yes, they may just have a removal spell for my Fury, but that guy blows up. And we attack. And then next turn, if I top deck a land, I've got the Nexus, which is going to roll on and draw me cards. As if it's in my hand at the end of their turn. And if not, then we're just drawing to Reanimates, right? Even putting in 4/4s is fine. They just pass the turn back. Beautiful. Land? One ring. That's basically a land. I'll draw a card. Oh, I should have let that resolve against an open scrub land actually, just in case they bowmaster me. But now we attack for 7, and we may not have to sneak anything in. Oh no, they've got plays. A Cathar Commando. Okay. If that's just chumping a Fury and blowing up a Mox Diamond, I think that's absolutely fine. It not blowing up my oh, it blows up the Baleful Strix, sure. Oh, even better then. It not blowing up my Nexus, I think, is a big victory there. So they're stuck on 3 lands. We have a Fury in play. They have an Animate Dead for my Metamorph, and then they get back their Cathar Commando, and then that will blow up my Nexus. Okay. That's a sick play. But I am going to draw a lot of cards, so... Okay, Wandering triggers. Island, draw some more. Barragoyf is a 6/7. So let's go to combat. So we got lucky last game that they didn't have their Animate Dead. We'll attack. Trade off those guys. Animate Dead goes away. They've got 3 cards in hand. Let's go Island, Barragoyf. So we can't really be Nexusing in the face of this Cathar Commando. So we'll just play a 6/7 instead. They find a swamp, which finds a Palace Jailer. Now that's quite problematic. They'll get in for 3 life linking. Black-white deck can be quite frustrating to play against. We fall to 12, and then we fall to 10. We are going to get a Nexus trigger though, so we might be able to get something off with that. 10, Island, draw me something good. Archon of Cruelty is good, thank you. Play an Island. Go to combat. Play an Archon of Cruelty. You sacrifice a creature, please. And I am going to just Bone Shards the Cathar Commando, I think. Oh, they sacrificed the Cathar Commando. Okay, so I won't be Bone Sharding a Palace Jailer. So I can flash Malcolm next turn. They're going to Ephemerate a Palace Jailer. Okay. Maybe I wish I had Bone Shards the guy, but hey ho. So the Archon token goes away. They can't attack. They draw a card. I flash in Malcolm in the end step. We take some damage. We draw a Traxxer. So let's Bone Shards this guy then, before you get more value off of your Ephemerate. We'll go to combat and see if we can get our Barragoyf back. Pyrogoyf, Animate Dead, Memory Lapse, Inquisition. Don't want lands. I want cards in my deck. So then we go to combat. We attack you for 2. You play a Bowmasters, which I will lapse, I think. So I do want the Monarchy. So what's interesting here is I'm pretty sure we're converting this, right? But it's just the attractor's quite small. I've only got 7 cards. The One Ring's taxing me. I don't know if they obviously can't do anything, but yeah, no, cool little trophy league there. I'm not sure about the final build. Like, I think we saw that the Fury and stuff could be good in that sort of mid-rangey matchup at the end there. But the other 2 matches we faced were also quite combo-y. And I think you could have built this as an all-in, you play the Bazaar, you play the Worldspine, you play the Valgavoth. We were, flush for fatties, and pretty good at getting them into play as well. It's just also having that ability to play a normal game when your cheaty stuff gets disrupted can be really useful. So that's why I was kind of hedging towards the Goyf tribal package in the middle of my curve, rather than just being all 1s and 2s and 8s and 9s sorts of thing. But anyway, that's a trophy league with some sneaky reanimate, and I'll see you again.